Good evening. I am reading Satan's Trilogy, Chapter 4. I'm the author and the narrator. This is reading 25. Brandy, you are right. I haven't committed to a relationship with you, certainly not one that you are deserving of. I've dated 5 women in my life, and I never became close to any of them. I don't know why it is that I can't allow myself to become deeply involved with anyone. Brandy, I think about you all the time, but I worry about all the things that can go wrong instead of the things that are going right. I can tell you that when I couldn't reach you on the phone, I missed you, and then I worried about you. This is a first for me. Feeling this way, that is, and I really don't know what it means. But at least now I can sleep knowing that you are fine. Jacob appeared sincere and was visibly relieved. Turning to Esther, Jacob again offered his condolences. Esther, I am so sorry to hear about your loss, and I apologize for putting you in the middle of this awkward confession of mine. Your aunt is a wonderful person, and I can see that you both have a very special bond, which is obvious to anyone that looks at the two of you. Perhaps we'll meet again if your aunt decides to give me a second chance and answer my calls. Again hugging Esther, offering some comfort to her in a sincere gesture, Jacob stepped back and said, "Perhaps the two of you will need more time to make this transition." Looking at Brandy, I know that you are hurting, and I don't want to ask you to discuss our relationship now, but I hope that sometime in the near future, you'll let me in your life again. Jacob turned and walked away. Both girls watched Jacob walk away. Then Esther turned to Brandy and said, "And Brandy, what do you think?" Esther watched for a response from her aunt and hoped to read the expression on her face. Esther, he is a good-looking, intelligent, and articulate. I couldn't get him committed to a real relationship for 3 years, and now I am not interested in one. I can't let my future be tied to someone incapable of making a commitment. I don't even know if I believe anything that he said. Brandy seemed sincere and ready to put the interruption behind her, and was ready to shop for some furniture. I am so excited. I really want a nice leather recliner for my bedroom, and perhaps an end table next to it. Brandy started walking to the center of the store, and Esther followed. Passing hundreds of chairs of all styles, along with sofas and various tables, the girls reached the center of the store, where Brandy stopped and stared. Esther, I have seen these recliners from a distance, but I have never bothered to sit in one because they are so expensive. Brandy picked up her pace and moved directly to a dark sage recliner. There was several chairs inside the display area. All right, Esther, this is what I never thought possible, and I am going to sit in this chair and decide if I love it. Brandy slowly drifted in onto the recliner and eased back into the pocket of the chair. Looking very pleased, Brandy reached for the wooden handle on the side of the chair and raised the footrest. As Brandy was enjoying herself, she felt some buttons on the side of the chair, so she pushed one. The lower back of the chair started to vibrate, so Brandy pushed some more buttons, and before long, the entire chair was vibrating, helping to relax every muscle in Brandy's body. The sound of the vibration was very subtle. but could hardly be heard. While relaxing, Brandy felt buttons on the other side of the chair, and as she pushed them, the chair warmed up. Brandy was now receiving her first automated hot muscle massage and moved and loved every minute. Esther, this chair is giving me a warm massage, and does it feel good? Brandy grabbed the ticket on the chair, looking for the price. It was on sale for $4,500. Next to the chair was a walnut end table that had several drawers and a jade inlaid top, which nicely complemented the recliner. Brandy glanced at the table, which was marked $3,300, an exuberant amount that Brandy would never have considered before Esther arrived. Esther, I want them. Now please tell me if this is too extravagant, and I'll try to walk away. I know that these two items are something that I would never have considered before you arrived home, but now I can afford them, and they are so beautiful. I just think that I would enjoy them immensely. Brandy turned towards Esther and waited for a response. Esther was about to answer Brandy's question when suddenly interrupted. "Oh my gosh, it's such a small world," said a familiar voice. It was Chris from United Shoe Store. "Hello, girls. I'm sure you remember me, Chris York. I sold you that lovely pair of Inveller shoes at the United Shoe Store." Chris was wearing black patent leather shoes with a shine that any Army drill sergeant could admire. The laces had been replaced with bright yellow string laces that matched his yellow suspenders. Wearing loose-fit, cuffed black dress pants with a black silk shirt, it would have been difficult to identify him as anything but a salesperson. And once again, he wore a name tag, giving his first name and his title as sales associate. "So did you get that matching clutch at Marco's for women?" Chris was very excited to hear the response and drew closer to the girls with anticipation. Esther smiled at Chris. She had decided she liked him from the moment she first saw him. "Chris, I did purchase the matching clutch, and I have you to thank. It was their last clutch of that color and design." The sales associate brought it out from the back storeroom. Chris's excitement was rather contagious. Esther and Brandy felt renewed enthusiasm for having purchased the elegant purse and shoes at such a low price. I knew it. I just had a good feeling about it. Now you are set for a very special night. You are going to look so good." Chris grabbed Esther's two arms and squeezed them in excitement. Stepping back a half step, Chris realized that Esther's arms were very firm. "Hey girl, you've been working out. That is hot. I wish that I had a little more tone, but I spend so much time working that there's no time left for exercise." Chris had turned to a mirror and glanced at his slim figure. He was pleased with himself, short of wishing for a bit more muscle tone. Esther seldom allowed anyone to touch her, but she had allowed Chris to do so. He was true to his nature and an honest person. Esther knew that Chris was someone she could trust, and therefore allowed the physical contact that she usually denied. Appreciating the fact that Chris was very observant, Esther switched subjects. "So Chris, you're working here too? I thought for sure you were dedicated to shoes," said Esther. "I am, Esther, but my mother is a manager here, and she needs me on the floor at least 3 times a week. I know a lot about chairs and tables, but my heart is with shoes." Looking down for a moment, admiring his own shoes, Chris suddenly said, "So what is it you two girls are looking for today?" Chris asked with a smile on his face and just a bit of enthusiasm. Without waiting for a response, Chris turned to Brandy and said, "You look like a girl that's found true love or perhaps a bit of heaven." Everybody needs a place to relax, and that chair is just the place to forget your troubles, or simply let your body recover from a long day. They say if you sit in this chair just 18 minutes a day, you can change your outlook on life. Imagine what an hour would do. Chris folded his arms, leaned back just a bit, and said, "That chair and you are a couple. I mean, you two really belong together. Now don't worry about the price. I can give you a special discount for being a friend. And the store is offering 0 interest financing if you need it." Chris stepped back just a bit and folded his hands, watching Brandy relax in the recliner. With a sense of satisfaction on his face, he watched Brandy fall deeper in love with the recliner. "This isn't your first time here, is it? Have you been longing for this chair?" Chris waited for a response but continued before Brandy could give one. "If you have a special place for this chair where you can relax and enjoy a few moments of silence, then you'll never regret buying this chair." Chris knew that Brandy was going to buy the recliner and stood back satisfied that he was able to help her make such a wise decision. "So Chris, how about this end table that matches the chair?" asked Brandy. She was moving her fingers over the jade top. "I really think they should go together." Chris became excited again at the thought of selling both pieces of furniture, which make a perfect set. "If you can pay cash, then the table is half price. Otherwise, I can give you 0 interest and a 30% discount on the price." Esther finally decided to end the discussion and to find a happy conclusion. "And Brandy, I know that it's your birthday in a couple of weeks. Let me buy this set as a birthday gift, my first birthday gift ever for my aunt. After all, I missed all of your birthdays and would love to give you something that you'll enjoy every day." Esther was serious about her offer, and Chris was somewhat amazed that this young girl could suggest such a thing. "And Brandy, I do have one condition. You can't have them until your birthday. You'll have to wait until your birthday to enjoy them." Esther stood back happy with the condition she had set. Then she added, "That's the way Dad always insisted on birthday gifts. They were never given early." Brandy looked at Esther and Chris. "Esther, I guess that you can afford this, and you've already given me a wonderful life that I love. This gift will truly be the icing on the cake. I accept, but waiting 2 weeks will be the most difficult thing that I have ever done." Brandy smiled at Esther and jumped up to hug her. "Oh my gosh, this will fit in my bedroom just perfectly." Brandy had just had one of the best days of her life, and she was very thrilled about everything that had happened. Chris stood back, listening to the girls discuss the furniture, and he became so wrapped up in enthusiasm that he said, "Esther, if you can pay cash on the chair, we will knock down 10% more," which was really only good business, but Chris loved making that offer, and of course, Esther was able to accept, saving a huge amount of money in the process. "Esther, let's do the paperwork and arrange delivery. I think that your aunt and I have just had the best day of shopping 2 girls can have." Esther smiled at Chris. "All right, girls, follow me. I'll have you on your way in no time." Chris started to walk to the front of the store, and the girls followed. Chris went to the register and started punching in numbers in several minutes. Chris turned to Esther and said, "What form of cash are you using, Esther?" Esther pulled out her yellow diamond debit card and said, "I have a debit card," handing the card to Chris. Chris looked at the card and started to process the purchase, all the time talking to Esther. "I knew you were a special girl. I just knew it, and this card proves it. I've only seen one other card like this, and it belonged to an ambassador from China that purchased a large amount of furniture from us. You know, Esther, it's wonderful that you are such a common person. Most people with money act as if they are above the rest of us. They say that money can't buy happiness, and unfortunately, only those with money know that to be true. Chris was looking at Esther and admiring her just a tad more, having seen a more complete picture of her. Esther also saw Chris in a slightly different light. His insight into what true happiness is about amazed Esther. And so, Esther, when and where do you want these 2 items delivered? Esther was somewhat amazed at the logic just spewed out by Chris, and she was in agreement with everything he said. Sidestepping all of his comments, Esther immediately spoke up. And Brandy's birthday is on January 13th, and so can you have delivery on that day? Esther waited for a reply from Chris. Checked the delivery schedules. Consider it done. The 13th is a Thursday. It looks like we can deliver the 2 pieces at any time you would like. Well, I'm not certain what my schedule will be then, but I have to believe that I'll be home by 4 in the afternoon, replied Esther. That's fine. We can have your delivery men there at 4. Esther, I see that you live close to Grant High. Are you attending Grant High? Yes, this is my first and last semester. I have had my transcripts transferred from China, and so this is my only chance at experiencing school here in the States, said Esther. Oh, that is wonderful. I attend Grant High. I hope we have some classes together. That would be so nice. Chris clapped his fingertips and was nearly giddy with enthusiasm. I'll be looking for you tomorrow. At the least, we should see each other in the halls. It's a large school, but I just know we'll see each other. Chris handed the completed paperwork over to Esther, and he thanked her for shopping at Amy Lynn's Furniture, and again said, I'll see you tomorrow. Hesitating, Chris added, Esther, I want to warn you that Grant High is a bit of a rough school, and it can be tough on a new student, and you might want to avoid some of the students. I just can't explain it all to you in so little time, so please just try to be invisible and not stand out. After all, it's only 6 months. Not much can happen in so little time. Chris looked at Esther and smiled with an expression of concern, but also hope. And I guess we'll stop right there. Hope you enjoyed it.